What if just one outbreak, one microscopic breach, was all it took to unleash African swine fever, ASF, across Smithfield Foods' hog operations? The result? A catastrophic collapse of up to 20% of its entire hog supply, gone in weeks. No bacon, no sausages, no pork chops, and no margin for error in a company that anchors a $15 billion pork empire across North America, China, and Europe. For Smithfield Foods, one of the world's largest vertically integrated pork producers, biosecurity isn't a department, it's a lifeline. But in an age of rising outbreaks, global trade routes, and viral mutations, even the best-laid systems face enormous strain. On today's AGRI 360X, airing daily at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., we crack open the high-stakes, high-pressure world of Smithfield pork production. From genomic disease resistance and AI-driven outbreak detection to supply chain firewalls and cross-border protocols, you'll see what it really takes to keep a global protein giant from being brought to its knees by a single virus. Because when it comes to industrial pork, the line between stability and collapse is razor thin. From small-town slaughterhouse to global pork giant, the rise of Smithfield Foods, founded in 1936 in the small town of Smithfield, Virginia. What began as a modest local meat operation has since grown into the largest pork processor on Earth, a name now synonymous with American bacon, ham, and pork chops in grocery aisles worldwide. Today, Smithfield Foods processes more than 25 million hogs annually, powering an industrial machine that generates approximately $15 billion in yearly revenue. Its vast empire stretches from Midwestern pig farms to cutting-edge processing plants, and onto global export markets across Asia, Europe, and Latin America. At the heart of Smithfield's scale is its vertically integrated model, a system where the company controls every step of production, from genetics and feed mills, to grow-out farms and biosecure transportation, to state-of-the-art slaughterhouses and global cold chain distribution. This integrated approach allows for tight quality control, cost efficiency, and rapid scalability, feeding everything from fast food chains and grocery giants to international trade partners hungry for U.S. pork. But this same model also concentrates risk. One major disruption, be it disease, regulatory shift, or market shock, can send shockwaves through the entire system, instantly jeopardizing thousands of jobs and billions in product flow. For Smithfield, success is about more than size. It's about surviving complexity at scale, every single day. Decentralized power, centralized pressure, inside Smithfield's grower network. Behind the scale of Smithfield Foods lies a vast and intricate supply chain, one built not just on factories and feedlots, but on the backs of over 2,000 contract growers spread across 30 U.S. states. This decentralized grower network is the backbone of Smithfield's pork empire. It offers key advantages: high-volume supply to meet national and global demand, regional diversification to buffer against localized disease outbreaks, weather disruptions, or logistical delays. But beneath the surface, a growing tension simmers. To remain in the system, contract farmers must meet strict performance metrics, including feed conversion ratios, mortality rates, and rapid turnaround between hog cycles. They're also expected to invest heavily in infrastructure upgrades, automated ventilation systems, waste management compliance, biosecurity fencing, and controlled access zones. For many small or mid-sized producers, these requirements mean taking on hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt just to stay competitive. The result? A lopsided playing field, where corporate consistency meets rural fragility, where the promise of stable contracts is weighed against the pressure of constant reinvestment and the fear of termination. Smithfield's model keeps shelves stocked, but for many growers, it comes with a question: who really owns the farm, when every decision starts at corporate HQ? Biosecurity or bankruptcy, the viral threats haunting hog barns. In today's industrial pork system, few threats are more feared or more financially devastating than disease outbreaks. And for Smithfield Foods, operating at massive scale, the stakes couldn't be higher. At the top of the threat list is African swine fever, ASF, a highly contagious virus that has no cure, no vaccine, and can wipe out an entire herd within weeks. Once inside a facility, it moves fast, forcing total depopulation and quarantines that paralyze entire supply chains. But ASF isn't the only danger lurking. U.S. producers lose an estimated $664 million each year to porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, PRRS, a persistent, slow-moving virus that weakens sows, causes miscarriages, and stunts piglet growth. Even in herds that survive, productivity tanks. For a vertically integrated giant like Smithfield, these aren't just biological risks, they're economic landmines. To defend against them, the company invests millions of dollars annually in high-level biosecurity systems, including controlled entry zones with shower-in, shower-out protocols, vehicle disinfection stations and perimeter fencing, routine diagnostic testing and real-time disease surveillance, strict no-visitor rules and livestock traceability systems. These systems increase infrastructure and operating costs significantly, but they're non-negotiable. Because in modern hog farming, a single biosecurity failure can spiral into a multi-million-dollar catastrophe, with ripple effects across everything from retail pricing to international pork exports. It's a daily battle fought behind closed barn doors, between viruses and vigilance, margin and mortality. Stringent protocols, foot baths, vehicle disinfection, herd quarantines drive up costs by 10 to 15%, but any lapse risks catastrophic herd loss. Growers must balance tight access with operational efficiency. Smithfield's farms generate millions of tons of manure yearly. Nutrient runoff and odor complaints have triggered lawsuits and stricter EPA regulations, forcing the company to invest in anaerobic digesters, buffer zones, and advanced lagoons. Conventional gestation stalls and high-density barns deliver economies of scale, but attract public criticism. Smithfield faces pressure from advocacy groups and retailers to adopt group housing and enriched environments, despite higher land and labor costs. Corn and soybean meal account for over 60% of feed expenses. Global grain price spikes in 2022 drove feed costs up 25%, squeezing margins and prompting Smithfield to explore alternative protein sources and on-farm grain production. Smithfield's R&D teams formulated custom pelleted diets with insect meal and distiller's grains, improving feed conversion by 8% and reducing reliance on volatile commodity markets. Through selective breeding and partner-funded vaccine research, Smithfield is piloting PRRS-resistant pig lines and next-generation ASF vaccine trials, aiming to cut disease losses by 50 to 70% in the coming years. Anaerobic digesters on large farms capture methane to generate electricity, powering barns and even feeding back into the grid, cutting greenhouse gas emissions by 35% per site and providing a new revenue stream. Smithfield's flagship plants process up to 200 hogs per hour. Any contamination or workflow interruption can lead to massive shutdowns, threatening supply continuity and eroding retailer trust. From barnyard beginnings to biosecure billion-dollar powerhouse, the Smithfield story. Since 1936, Smithfield Foods has transformed from a small-town slaughterhouse into a $15 billion global pork powerhouse, feeding millions, powering exports, and shaping the way America eats. But behind the breakfast bacon and barbecue ribs lies a story of constant tension. Disease outbreaks like PRRS and ASF that threaten to collapse entire barns in weeks. Environmental pressure to curb emissions and reduce waste at industrial scale. Animal welfare debates in an era of rising consumer scrutiny, and global market swings that can shift overnight. To stay ahead, Smithfield isn't just producing pork, they're pioneering change. From precision feeding systems that cut waste and boost growth, to PRRS-resistant genetics using advanced breeding and gene editing science, to anaerobic digesters that turn manure into clean, renewable energy. The company is betting on innovation to keep barns running, shelves stocked, and public trust intact. What about you? If you ran a hog operation today, which innovation would you trial first? Digester-powered energy for clean fuel? PRRS-resistant breeding stock? Precision feeding to optimize every pound of feed? Drop your answer in the comments. We want your take. What shocked or inspired you most about the inner workings of this $15 billion pork empire? Like this video if you learned something new. And don't forget to subscribe to AGRI 360X, airing daily at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. for your next deep dive into the hidden tech, trials and transformations shaping our global food systems.